Hello there, nice slice here, coming at you from beautiful British Columbia, Canada. True North, strong and free. Again, it's been some time since I did a video. Just super busy, working lots, and I've slowed down on my knife purchases lately. I'm just trying to keep my bank account flush. Mrs. Slice and I will be heading over to Europe in a couple weeks for a well-earned vacation. So I think once that's said and done, I'll have a little bit more in my budget for some more knives. But anyhow, I did purchase a knife yesterday. I found it on Facebook Marketplace, and here it is. Some of you may recognize already what we're looking at here. This, of course, is the iconic Buck 110. This is a 3-line. You can see it says Buck 110 USA. So that means this particular version was manufactured between 1972 and 1986. And the fact that this has only 2 pins. Right here, we don't count the lock bar pivot pin there, but 2 pins here, 3 lines, means that this particular edition was made between 1972 and 1974. So this knife is either a year older, a year younger, or the exact same age that I am, because my birthday falls right in the middle of that in 1973. So it's pretty fantastic. I mean, just have a look at the condition. But I would like to talk about, I find these knives quite often. If you follow my channel, I don't know, they just seem to fall into my lap sometimes. I find them at pawn shops, at flea markets. But this one I did find just scrolling through, like I said, Facebook Marketplace. And there was a fellow selling this. And I reached out to him, and he held on to it for a couple of days so we could meet up, because I work, very long days. And in the evening, it just wasn't going to work. So I ran out yesterday morning on my day off. And I spoke to him, and he was telling me that this was his dad's knife. And his dad is Arthur Turncliffe, and he was a firefighter for the city of Surrey for 35 years. And up until recently, I was a resident of Surrey, the city of Surrey, for the better part of 35 years. I find that, fitting, I think. And Arthur's son told me that his dad was a fisherman, and he used this knife, in his own words, it has gutted many a trout in his day. And that Arthur was, in fact, the original owner of this knife. So that is not a backstory I usually get with the knives I purchase. I find them at like I say, a pawn shop, and they don't have any backstory. They just have a price tag on them. So I thought that was pretty cool. So, and the young fellow, I call him young, he's probably younger than I am, but his name was Daryl. So Daryl, thanks for giving me that information, and I pass that on to my viewers now. But I'm just letting you have a good look at this, because this thing is in fantastic shape, right? Like, look at that inlay, that hardly a mar on it. There's a couple nicks. I mean, it's a 50-year-old knife, right? It's used, but fantastic. So I'll open this up. You can hear the snap. Lockup is great, perfectly aligned. Let's see what the return spring is like. Sounds good to me. Now, I did notice a tiny little bit side-to-side blade play, but that's not unusual for these old knives, and I can take care of that, no problem. I'm going to be cleaning this up and giving it a good home in my knife cupboard alongside some of the other ones. So here's an example of another 3-line 110, but this one has a dot on either side of the 110, if you can see that. So this one is 74 or newer, and it has 3 pins, as you can see, right? We'll just hold these up. So 2 pins on this one, 1, 2, 3 pins on this one. Other than that, they're pretty much the same knife. This one did go to Buck for the spot treatment. That's why the brass looks a little brighter. And the wood was pretty chewed up on it. They did a good job on this one. I won't be setting the other one in, but again, just a tiny little bit of side to side. It was a lot worse, and then Buck took care of that for me, but I've learned how to do that myself in the meantime. So let's have a look at the sheath. This is the sheath for the knife I just purchased, and it is in also fantastic condition. This was a well cared for piece of equipment. You can tell Arthur looked after his stuff. It's fantastic, and you can see, I'll show you the difference. This is not the proper sheath for this one, but still, this sheath does have a 20 years of age or so, and you can see the difference. The pouch that the knife sits in just goes straight across, whereas on the proper one, you can see it has a bit of more of a saddle feature to it. So once again, 1972 to 74, 3-line, 2-pin, Buck 110 in fantastic condition. And this thing is sharp. I got to tell you, a lot of these old knives I find, they are dull as dull can be. Then I put them on my stones, but this one, there's no need to. And I believe this is the 440C steel. I should mention that as well. Let's have another good look here. Look at that. Beautiful satin finish. So the 1972, 1974 Buck 110. There you have it.